Hey, this is Chris from the Parx-e Show here with episode 5. The episode has changed considerably. It was going to be about the Pop Boomerang CD album launch. I've got 2 great interviews for that, but it's missing an interview with the great man himself, Mr. Scott Fairlane, so we're at the moment tying that up to make that happen. It's been, well, in my personal life, it's been hard because last week on June the 4th, which was a Thursday, someone very close to me and someone very dear and someone who I admire and love very deeply, my uncle Peter Browne, passed away. He was an amazing man. He meant and always will mean so much to me. I always used to love going down to Nine where he lived. As a child and as a teenager, we'd talk about movies and music. He was big into theater and drama. I always used to love seeing him when he was at church playing the organ. He always used to play it so well. He means everything to me. He was the most nicest guy in the world, and I love him, and I'm gonna miss him deeply because he was just always there. He was always up for chatting. He was always so switched on. You could talk about stuff and he'd know the answer. I remember when I last saw him, which was in April, he was excited about seeing my new phone. He was excited about seeing photos from the wedding, which was the reason why I went down to Christchurch. He gave me a lens for my camera in which I filmed this show with, which I'm so honored to have and I will cherish and keep as a memory and a legacy of him. He was an amazing man. I love him. I miss him. He will always be in my heart, and to my auntie Angela and to my cousin Joanna, I'm always going to be here for you. I'm a phone call and an email away. I love you both, and I'm always going to be there for you no matter what. He was an amazing man. I love him. I miss him. I love you, Peter, and I'm dedicating the show to you because you were and always will be an important part of my life. I miss you so much. So on today's show, we've got a talented man by the name of Lliam Murphy, who I was introduced by the way of my gorgeous and talented friend, our mutual friend, Elliott Cannon. He's jack of all trades. He's an actor, he's a screenwriter, he produces, and doing a whole bunch of cool stuff, so we kindly gave us time to chat today. And we've got a review of the Raised by Eagles album. It's a really great album, and it is worth checking out, so listen and hear my thoughts and sit back and enjoy the show. Parx-e Show with the very talented Lliam Murphy, who we met through a mutual acquaintance, and he's kindly given us some time today to chat. And he also helped me out with a very huge dilemma, which I learned something new today. So this guy,
happy to help.
This guy is very talented. He's a screenwriter, he's an actor, he runs a corporate video company, and even does voiceovers. So
thank you.
And I shall ask the first question. So how did you get into all this? How did you get your start?
Look, I've always been into acting. I grew up in New Zealand for about 6 years. I used to live in Wellington, and that's when I first did my first sort of stage play. Granted, I wasn't the lead. I was in a stage play of Robin Hood, and I wasn't a tree, but I was just one of the henchmen. So I think I've had a future playing a bad guy right since I was a kid. But yeah, just being on stage and seeing everybody just sort of, their faces light up, you know. I love that. I love making people happy, love making people laugh. I guess I just love making people feel. So from there, you know, I did acting right the way through high school. I took a little bit of a break after I sort of finished school, just to kind of find myself. Did IT, did a networking degree, and then after kind of probably about 6 years, just realised I couldn't live without acting, so I got back into it with a bit of a vengeance. And I've been doing it probably pretty much full time for around about 6 years now. So I'm definitely starting to get into my own projects, which is awesome.
So how do you find being an actor in Australia when the marketplace can change on the variance? Some years there's a load of work happening, and sometimes it's a bit quiet because there's a bit of a lull. And
yeah. Oh, look, it's a tumultuous industry. It always has been, and I think it always will be. But, I think Australia is a really amazing testing ground. As opposed to the States or the UK, which has a very sustainable industry, Australia, despite being probably one of the best places in the world to live, for creative types, you have to prove yourself. You have to sort of rise above all the crap that we put up with, and still come out on top. That makes Australian actors very resilient, I think. And it's probably why on an international level, we're so attractive to the US and to the UK, because we work so much harder than anybody else. So from my perspective, I do love the Australian film industry. It makes you work hard, it makes you take stock, and it means that you can't sort of get too big for your boots. That's the reason I make my own work. So yeah.
That's cool. So how often would you have auditions in Australia?
Oh, look, it sort of depends. When the industry's going good, probably sort of 1 or 2 auditions a week. That's not standard. I think, I was speaking to my agent not that long ago, and that's on a good week. Sort of 1 or 2 auditions. Probably 1 or 2 a week, I reckon.
So when you're going for auditions, how do you prepare for an audition?
I'm going to thank our mutual friend for this, Elliott Cannon. Nice little plug there. I used to sort of just read over the script and do all the, the typical homework, do sort of, scene analysis, find my kind of character's need and all that sort of stuff. But since meeting my friend Ella, she taught me a really useful sort of habit, which is just to sit in that character, absorb, think about all the types of things that this person could possibly be thinking about, their history, what makes them them. And, sometimes before I've even kind of started any analysis, just kind of read the script and just sit there for hours, just lying there, absorbing this character and finding what I have in common with them. And I think that even the deepest, darkest characters that I've read for and, that I've worked on as an actor, I still have a lot more in common with them that I think, which I love. I love that.
So how do you prepare and memorize lines? What's your technique?
That's an interesting one, because I used to hate learning lines. I think that's part of what scared me off pursuing acting straight out of high school, is I have a shocking memory. I have one of the worst memories. I'm like Dory the fish from Finding Nemo. And then something clicked for me when I was kind of in my mid-20s, where I would just read a script, and after absorbing, the essence of that character, the lines would just come. So the more intimately I knew that character, it was less about learning lines and more about understanding why they would say the things they say. So it just became a very organic process. In saying that, normally what I'll do is, read over the script a couple of times, try and say it out loud without giving it too much, I suppose, emotional context. I don't want to kind of like pre-learn anything. And then from there, once I feel comfortable with knowing the character and how I am the character, it just comes naturally, to be honest. So
screenwriting, how is that different to you compared to acting? Because in this role, you're writing the scripts. So how is it different for you?
Look, screenwriting, honestly, it's like my dirty little habit. I love creating characters and I love telling a good story. It's very different to acting. Acting, the words are already on the page. Somebody else has taken the time to create this world for you. And you don't really have any input in that world. Basically the character that's there, that's the character. You might have a bit of wiggle room with the director or the writer, depending on what your relationship's like with them. But for me, script writing, it's existentially getting the worlds that exist within my mind out on paper. Specifically with the new projects I'm writing at the moment, it's about, I suppose, sort of creating a bit of catharsis for myself. Like all these worlds I've imagined as a kid have finally bubbled up to the surface. I get to have a little bit of control over, the stories I'm telling, how it's going to hopefully affect the audience. And I don't know, I just get to bring all these weird, crazy ideas to life. And I love that, sort of an actor, everything's kind of predefined. Whereas a writer, you can literally do anything, say anything. And I love that,
So where do you get your ideas for your screenplays? How do they come about?
I don't really want to sound too wanky. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a religious person or anything, but just I feel like there's something divine. These ideas just seem to come out of the ether. I can't explain where they come from. Whether it's maybe sort of from things I've heard, or when I've chatted to people, or even TV shows that I've already seen. I don't know, to be honest.
So what has inspired you recently that you've seen that's inspired you creatively as an actor and a screenwriter?
Funnily enough, the film, and I literally saw this a couple of days ago, was Tomorrowland. And, apparently it's based off the vision that Walt Disney had for the future. And I realised after coming out of that film that it had been a long time since I'd had, an inkling to try and change the world, or, sort of thought about the predicaments that we're currently facing as a global society. And, for what I thought was going to be a popcorn fluff film, it made me think. And I remember coming home, and straight away I got stuck into writing, my new script. And it just made me think that, originally I wanted to write a script. It was very central just about characters and stuff, but I never thought, hey, how is this going to make people think? Is this going to make people want to take action? And Tomorrowland was phenomenal. That really changed the way that I think at the moment, and challenged me.
So how does doing corporate video stuff, how does this enter your realm?
So when I was younger, and I was in high school, I had a drama teacher who basically sort of said, oh, look, Liam, I don't think this is for you, you know what I mean? Get your priorities straight. Might have had something to do with the fact that I took my girlfriend to a formal instead of doing the lead in a play. So maybe I did have my priorities skewed, I don't know. But anyway, when I finally got my passion back for acting, I realised that as an actor, you only have a certain amount of power. And you really are at the mercy of, your agent getting you gigs, or you getting your own sort of stuff through different connections and networking. Whereas, running my own corporate video company, and now making films through that company as well, it has allowed me a lot more creative control. So it means that I get to tell the stories that I want to tell, and effectively nobody can stop me from doing what I'm passionate about. It gives me a lot of flexibility, whereas most people are locked into 9-to-5 jobs, or they might be working as a waiter. I mean, I can choose my own hours. If I want to take 6 weeks off for a feature film, I can do that. And not only that, I can contribute a lot of the time. I understand the process of working as a director and as a producer and as a cameraman. So I just think it creates a really cohesive, overall production. Yeah.
So, and amongst all this, you've been like a host at an event. So is that something new to the fold?
I ended up working as a presenter for BMW for the new Mini Cooper launch last Friday. And honestly, it was just a last minute thing. My business partner just sort of said, hey, I want you to come along to the launch. Originally, I thought I was just going to be, working behind the camera. And then he sort of basically goes, all right, man, you're actually going to be working as a presenter. And a part of me absolutely froze, and my heart was just beating out of its chest. And I thought, you know what? This is going to be amazing. It's going to be a great opportunity. And it was a new challenge, a new experience. So for me, I loved it. I was nervous as hell, but once I was actually doing it, it was just so exciting. And that's what I love about what I'm doing, is that, you know, I have so many new experiences all the time. You know, like, life's never dull.
Cool. So what is next for yourself?
So in order, I suppose, of events, the first thing on my plate is my short film, Grandma's Funk, which we produce. I should start filming in about a month. Currently working on a series that we're pitching to Netflix in the US. Still coming up with a name at the moment, but currently titled Project Red, which is a modern day reimagining of Little Red Riding Hood and the Woodsman, except for she basically hunts down all the baddies and supernatural folk, causing the planet issues. Apart from that, I'm filming the feature-length version of Peacekeepers, after the success of Peacekeeper, which is a short film directed by Joshua Haro. We start filming that, I think, middle of next year, so pretty excited. And I've just been asked to read for the lead of Lucas in a new film by Mark Adante, so he works with Source Films. So yeah, really excited about that as well. And yeah, that's basically me at the moment.
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. I know you're going to go places, and I appreciate your time again today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate that.
Too easy. That's done. Alright, it's Chris from the Parx-e Show here. We're doing a review today of Raised by Eagles, Diamond in the Bloodstreams. That's their latest album, and, well, I liked it. It is very much an old country album. It is a very well produced album for this Victorian group. The songs are really well written. The production is fantastic. It's just so crisp and clear. The songwriting is just incredible. The vocals are great. I love the use of backing vocals from some Melbourne luminaries such as Tracy McNeil, for example. It is a really great album. I think Jackie is such a good song off the album, so is Falling Through and Sugar Cane. But I was pleasantly surprised when I got this album in the mail, because it's like, I like old country, but I just thought, Jesus, this is really bloody good. But that was because when I heard the production from the opening track, I just thought, here's a band that's taken the time and probably spent the time to make some quality, a quality release, a production that speaks volumes. They spent the time putting the songs and the lyrics and everything together to make an album that's worth your time. And you know what? I really enjoyed this. I know it's just a short but brief review on this album, but I didn't know what to expect, because, and I was pleasantly surprised. This is just a really great album, and I think if you love old country and you love good songwriting, good lyrics, give this baby a go, because it's a really great album. I highly recommend it. Give this local Victorian actor a go and put some money their way, because they've done something I think that's really worth your time. Really quality, good songs, great lyrics, production's fantastic, and the musicianship's excellent. And really, what's not like about a band that spend the time to create something worth your while? And I highly recommend it. I should suggest you check out Diamond in the Bloodstreams by Raised by Eagles. I got a CD copy, but I'm sure you can get off Bandcamp. I'm sure you can get off the usual spots like iTunes and any good free websites, because this album is highly worth your time. Production's great, and I liked it, so give it a go. This is my review. This is Chris from Parx-e Webzine, Parx-e Show. Peace out. So, that was the show. Peter, I miss you so much. I can't believe you're gone. Thanks for everything, and thanks for always being there. You were a great uncle, and I miss you, and I love you. I'll see you again next time.